So next we have the conspiracy theorist Graham Hancock. And today we're going to check out and listen to some of his theories on a lot of the discoveries that are made out in Egypt as of late. All right, so let's get to it.
And so ruthless that they wipe out the entire megafauna of, for example, North America.
I don't like when they use words like wipe out and then they pair it with North America. Those shouldn't be in the same sentence at all.
The body is long, it's tall, and the head is quite out of proportion.
A trained sociologist, British writer Graham Hancock has worked as a journalist for many years. However, what he has become more popular for are his controversial scientific theories, which many regard as conspiracy theories. From pseudoscientific theories that explore ancient civilizations to extraterrestrial interactions with ancient humans, Hancock has proposed unconventional theories that go against mainstream historical accounts. What is so special about these theories that mainstream scientists have labeled them as not factual? What will these theories tell us about historic civilizations? Join us in this video as we explore the 10 craziest conspiracy theories by Graham Hancock. 10. The Hall of Records of Ancient Egypt. One of Hancock's most popular works is his theory on the Hall of Records, believed to have been a library in ancient Egypt. However, this Hall of Records was unlike today's usual library. It is a mythical ancient library, believed to hold the knowledge of a lost civilization. This library is a knowledge repository containing thousands of prehistorical texts that serve the nobles of ancient Egypt. Hancock postulates not only a theory about the existence of this library, but also its location. He believes that the mythical library is located in the Sphinx statue on the plain.
I thought we was talking about the same thing. I thought he was talking about, we've talked about that before, possibly being up under the Sphinx, possibly some hidden room up under there. But some people, and that's where the conspiracy theories lie, believe that this place has already been ramshacked. It's already been taken by local government.
Of Giza. The exact location of the library is unknown. Nevertheless, Hancock opines that the library is in a hidden secret chamber inside the Sphinx monument. We wouldn't have discussed the ancient Hall of Records today without Edgar Cayce. It was Cayce who suggested the existence of the mythical library. He wrote that the Hall of Records holds the lost civilization of Atlantis stored on tablets or scrolls, which documents their knowledge of technology, history, and spiritual practices.
See, we could put that theory to bed once and for all if we can possibly get to these records and figure out whether or not it says anything about Atlantis.
Hancock is resolute in his hypothesis that the Hall of Records is hidden in a yet-to-be-discovered chamber in the Sphinx. He based his argument on the seismic surveys in the area that point to underground cavities near the Sphinx. Furthermore, he doesn't hesitate to reference the local folklore that hints at underground chambers, rooms, and passageways around the Sphinx. Hancock's theory gets more interesting when he answers the big question of, who constructed the ancient library? According to Hancock, the Hall of Records was built by the survivors of the lost city of Atlantis, who wasted no time in recording the history of the long-lost civilization. 9. Supernatural entities in prehistoric art. Another Hancock's theory that has garnered attention is his research on prehistoric art that suggests supernatural entities. He explores this theory in his book, Supernatural Meetings with the Ancient Teachers of Mankind. In the book, he examines the world of cave paintings and questions the existence of the beings represented in the ancient artworks. Hancock focuses on studying therianthropes, a human and animal hybrid being prevalent in prehistoric arts. These beings are often linked with shamanic traditions, where spiritual intermediaries enter an altered state of consciousness and interact with the spirit world. Hancock argues that the therianthropes' depictions in ancient artworks are not a coincidence or simply artistic creations. Instead, they are representations of extraterrestrial interactions with humans.
I think you've seen some of those. I know I could recall a few scenes in movies where they be sitting in those tents and they be sweating it out and you see smoke fill the whole tent up, and then a couple of scenes later they're hallucinating, they're seeing things, and they call it some type of spiritual awakening they're doing or something like that. They always make reference to those in certain movies.
He further points out hallucinogenic plants among different cultures whose consumption could have triggered psychoactive effects on the ancient people. He believes that extraterrestrial entities interacted with humans when using these psychoactive plants because they were in an altered state of consciousness. 8. The global cataclysm. A comet hit Earth about 12,800 years ago, leading to a global catastrophic event. As typical of Hancock, he delves into this event, and it is documented in his book, Magicians of the Gods. Hancock opines that the comet strike led to a cataclysmic event that destroyed advanced civilizations at the time and drastically changed the Earth's climate. This theory is in sync with the Younger Deus boundary, YDB, impact hypothesis that suggests that a historical cooling event known as the Younger Deus was due to the impact of a comet or meteor. From Hancock, we learn that this period experienced a rapid return to glacial conditions in the northern hemisphere after the last ice age had ended. The event led to a massive disruption in plants, animals, and human societies. But he doesn't stop here. Advancing the hypothesis further, he describes a catastrophic event where a striking comet hit the Earth, destroying an advanced prehistoric civilization. As you can already guess, this is likely the same one linked to his theories on Antarctica, Atlantis, and the Sphinx. According to Hancock, the remnants of this lost civilization can be found in various ancient sites worldwide, such as Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This site dates back to 9,600 BC, which coincides with the end of the Younger Days, and is characterized by advanced stone architecture and complex carvings. Hancock also points out that this evidence of knowledge transferred down civilizations. Some part of this theory is based on myths and tales of massive floods across the world. He believes that these flood memories might be a collection of catastrophic events that led to the demise of an ancient civilization. 7. The lost civilization of Antarctica. Hancock has extended the tentacles of his research to one of the coldest regions on our planet, Antarctica. He proposed a theory on what happened to this frozen continent. He believes that underneath the ice layers of Antarctica lies the remnant of a long-lost civilization. He explains this theory so elaborately in his book, Fingerprints of the Gods. According to Hancock, there is a strong possibility that Antarctica is the site of the mythical Atlantis city. His theory is based on the idea of Earth's crustal displacement, a geological theory that suggests that the Earth's crust can move over liquid layers beneath. Thus, it can successfully shift the geographical locations of continents. He believes that a historical event occurred 12,000 years ago that shifted the temperate continent of Antarctica to its current polar location. This led to its sudden freezing and encasement in blocks of ice. As expected, this theory didn't sit well with mainstream archaeologists and historians. However, Hancock quickly backs up his claim by interpreting the Peary race map, which depicts Antarctica's coastline without ice. He argues that a previous civilization had passed this knowledge down before Atlantis was covered in ice. To everyone who cares to listen, Hancock often describes an advanced ancient civilization on our Earth several millennials ago, which became extinct after being submerged underwater. This theory draws support from mythical tales about a long-lost city passed down across civilizations, and they are still told today. Furthermore, he believes that the survivors of this ancient Atlantis city likely influenced other civilizations such as Egypt, the Americas, and Sumers. He believes that the sophistication of the ancient monuments worldwide is proof of the astronomical development of the lost city of Atlantis before it became known as Antarctica. 6. The mystery of the pyramids of Egypt.
Now y'all see why he's so controversial, right? I love it. That's what I like about him. You know what I mean? I always try to find something that he's talking about, you know, whether I agree or not. But we've heard that theory before. That's not like the first time we've heard them speak about Antarctica that way. They're always talking about a long lost civilization, or they're saying there's still a civilization there currently. Now, do I believe that? With the cold, I don't do the cold, so it's hard for me to believe that, but they still have theories out there right now of a current of a lost civilization currently there.
Hancock got called out again when he postulated an unconventional theory about the pyramids of Egypt, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza. Contrary to the widely accepted theories of historians and Egyptologists, Hancock believes that the pyramids are much older than we believe. According to Hancock, we shouldn't credit the construction of the pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza, to the ancient Egyptians of the 4th dynasty. He believes that there is no way the Egyptians could have built the pyramids around 2600 BC. You would agree that this
and that would make sense because everybody wants to attest it to them having slaves. Oh, slaves helped them do it. Oh, they had some type of secret technology. Still in all, it still takes a long time. So having somebody say that there's a theory that this thing actually is a lot older than we think kind of holds weight to me in terms of saying it took a while for this thing to be built the way it was built and designed and how it looks. It took a while. So when they keep pushing it back, I don't give any pushback on that. So I think it's a lot older than we think as well.
It's a provoking opinion. When Hancock first postulated his theory, the question on everyone's mind was, where is the evidence to back his claim? In response, he argues that the ancient Egyptians couldn't have achieved the top-notch precision and astronomical alignments of the pyramids. He believes the Egyptians didn't have the technological advancement to construct such architectural masterpieces. From his point of view, the design, construction, and geological alignment of the pyramids are proof that a much more advanced civilization made them. In Hancock's view, this civilization existed thousands of years before the ancient Egyptians, and they left behind the pyramids, which the Egyptians inherited and received credit for. Have you begun to doubt your history lessons?
Absolutely.
Wait, Hancock isn't done yet, as he comes...
I've been down them history lessons for a long time, bro. If I can go back and talk to my teachers now...
with another dicey piece of evidence. The geographical location of the pyramids has cosmological significance because the monuments are located at the exact position of Earth's land masses. Do you consider this a coincidence? Hancock doesn't. He believes there is a correlation between the location of the pyramids and those who built them. Furthermore, he brings to light that the pyramids' measurements correlate with astronomical constants such as the speed of light. We might have to agree with Hancock on this one because this is a mystery that we cannot explain. In addition, Hancock is against the notion that the pyramids were merely tombs for pharaohs. He believes that the monuments had more purpose than we know of, but it is possible that they served a spiritual or metaphysical function. 5. The Lost City of Atlantis. The Lost City of Atlantis is a tale that has been told for centuries. It started with Plato, who spoke about a lost civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time. This mysterious city has also grabbed Hancock's attention, and he has...
See that? That view right... Oh, let me go back to it.
This mysterious city has...
This view right here, I'm trying to stop it here, but I think it expands a little more and goes out. This gives you the Eye of the Sahara look, doesn't it? Go back and look at the Eye of Sahara and look and compare it with this view right here. I promise you, you'll think that might be the lost city of Atlantis when you look at the two in comparison.
Has also grabbed Hancock's attention, and he has devoted his time researching the city through the lens of ancient philosophers and based on his interpretation of archaeological evidence. Ultimately, he developed a theory that has stirred up debates in recent years. As usual, Hancock postulates an unconventional theory about the existence, location, and demise of this long-lost civilization. Although many scientists considered Plato's description of Atlantis an allegory, Hancock is towing the opposite direction. He believes that Plato's description of the mythical Atlantis civilization is a factual report of a prehistoric advanced civilization. This theory is better explained in his book, Fingerprints of the Gods, where he suggests that the city of Atlantis was located in present-day Antarctica. He believes that the icy continent was once a temperate land before a cataclysmic event, most likely a shift in the Earth's crust that caused it to move from its polar position, resulting in freezing and disappearance between layers of life. Thus, this was how Atlantis was lost to history. One of the pieces of evidence that this theory rests on is the Peary Race Map, a 16th century map of the world that appears to show the northern part of Antarctica, which was relatively unknown till modern seismic surveys. Hancock doesn't stop here. He has connected the story of Atlantis with various cultures worldwide. According to Hancock, there were survivors from that catastrophe, and these persons dispersed to different areas of the world to start a new life. As expected, these survivors took with them advanced knowledge. which they infused into the architecture and meteorology of ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians, Mayans, and Sumerians. Hancock argues that the sudden rise of some ancient civilizations is proof that they had incorporated advanced knowledge into their culture, which can be traced back to the survivors of Atlantis. Hancock's theory is still not accepted in academic circles, as it has been subject to several controversies and debates. Nevertheless, this theory is stealthily rewriting some historical accounts and has forced many to question the traditional narrative of chronological human history. 4.
Isn't that the goal? I thought the goal wasn't to try to persuade anyone or anything like that. It's to present the information and the facts for us to continue to do our research and make discoveries. That's what I thought the goal was. You know what I mean? I don't think he's looking to, and I can't speak for him, he may be looking to get into some history books and stuff like that, but I thought it was to continue the conversation, to continue to push us forward by looking back at things, continuing to make discoveries, continue to analyze the data that we're receiving, and not just take what everyone's telling us as fact and concrete.
Ancient civilizations and extraterrestrials. Having spent years investigating ancient civilizations, Hancock decided to extend his research to potential extraterrestrial influences on Earth. For a long time, scientists and philosophers have toyed with the idea of extraterrestrial life existing somewhere in the universe that we don't know of. Hancock seems to have also towed this path. However, he is not outrightly ascertaining the existence of these extraterrestrial beings. Instead, he has asked some interesting questions about ancient knowledge and technologies, and if we are to read the handwriting on the wall correctly, he is suggesting that there is more to what conventional history has taught us. Hancock is taking us back to re-examine the technological leap of ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Mayans, and this exploration questions the knowledge advancement of these ancient cities. According to Hancock, there is no linear explanation for the technological advancement experienced in some of these ancient civilizations. What fascinates Hancock is the sudden appearance of architectural and astronomical developments in those societies, such as the precise construction of the Egyptian pyramids and the sophisticated observatories of the Mayans. He argues that these developments and knowledge seem out of place in these eras, meaning they received help from somewhere. He explores this question further in his book, Supernatural Meetings with the Ancient Teachers of Mankind, where he suggests that the rapid advancement of ancient civilizations could be due to contact with otherworldly beings. Now you probably think this is starting to sound like a fairy tale, but Hancock believes there might be some truth in it. He explains this theory further by saying that this out-of-the-world contact may have occurred through altered states of mind, possibly induced by the consumption of psychoactive plants.
Now, you pair that with the video we checked out yesterday with the abductions. The couple, again, how did they speak to them? How did they manipulate them? How did they do that? It was all through the mind. It was all through the mind. They kind of paralyzed them through the mind. They spoke to them. They did different things all through the mind. So when he brings up a theory like that, I kind of connected it and can see where he's going with it.
He cites the prevalence of similar motifs in the ancient arts across different cultures, such as therianthropes, which are part human, part animals, as evidence of these encounters. He believes these motifs are not mere coincidences, but likely documentation of encounters with supernatural beings such as gods, spirits, and extraterrestrial beings. Number 3. The Ark of the Covenant's hidden secrets. Hancock's inquisitiveness has not spared biblical accounts, as he has shifted his research lens to uncover some hidden secrets that died with history. One such account is the Ark of the Covenant, recorded in the Bible. This research is documented in his book, The Sign and the Seal. The Ark of the Covenant is a gold-plated ancient artifact that housed the 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. Based on biblical narration, the Ark of the Covenant was lost when the Babylonians invaded Jerusalem and the Jews' Holy Temple in 587 BC. But Hancock has a different opinion on what happened to the Ark of the Covenant. He believes that this ancient Jewish artifact wasn't lost, as many assume. Instead, the Ark of the Covenant was taken from the Holy Temple built by Solomon and brought to Ethiopia for safekeeping before the Babylonians invaded Jerusalem. If this theory is true, the ancient Jews made a genius move to preserve their artifact. Hancock came about this theory after studying several historical and religious texts and cultural stories, especially from Ethiopia's Christian tradition. In a surprising revelation, Hancock says that the Ark of the Covenant has been preserved over several centuries and is housed in a chapel in the small town of Axum in northern Ethiopia. The Ark is believed to be guarded by a monk who isn't allowed to leave the chapel's grounds, and he is the only one permitted to see the Ark of the Covenant. So, as it stands, Hancock's claims cannot be proved because no one else can see the Ark of the Covenant. Nevertheless, local devotees strongly believe in the Ark's presence inside the chapel. Ordinarily, we would think the story ends here, but it doesn't. Hancock further postulates that there is more to the Ark than we know. He suggests that the Ark of the Covenant was an ancient technological device that could have been an electrical capacitor capable of storing an electrical charge. This theory is based on the Ark's design as described in the Bible, which resembles that of a capacitor. Suppose this theory is true, it would mean that the Ark was a technological device. In essence, this would mean that the ancient Jews were an advanced civilization, rewriting all of the historical beliefs we have about them. Number 2. Sacred geometry theory. Hancock also sparked debates with his sacred geometry theory. Sacred geometry is based on the belief that certain geometrical shapes and patterns possess sacred or spiritual significance. Hancock proposes that these civilizations had an understanding of sacred geometry and utilized it to their benefit. His evidence resides in the architectural designs and artworks whose remains can be found in certain historical sites worldwide. Furthermore, he believes that this knowledge had a significant impact on human consciousness and spiritual development.
And see, a lot of y'all had no care, still have no care for geometry, even when you had it in high school. Math was my favorite subject, so I loved it. But I know a lot of people who just don't care for math. So y'all don't care what way they try to make you think that geometry was some of importance. Even in this realm, you still don't want to care about it.
Hancock's theory is founded on the hypothesis that specific shapes and patterns align with the fundamental energies of the cosmos. The ancient civilizations integrated these forms into their structures to align themselves with these cosmic energies. Thus, they could deepen their spiritual development by altering consciousness and facilitating spiritual experiences. Examples of these structures are the pyramids of Giza, the Temple of Luxor in Egypt, and Stonehenge of England. Hancock believes that the precise alignment, proportions, and geometric patterns in these ancient structures are proof of an understanding of sacred geometry. This means that many
They definitely didn't teach us that in school.
prehistoric and ancient civilizations are more advanced than we give them credit for. Like his other theories, sacred geometry and its correlation with ancient civilization challenge mainstream historical accounts. Lastly, Hancock expressly links this hypothesis with his theory on a prehistoric lost civilization and how the knowledge of sacred geometry was passed down through civilizations. 1. The Sphinx and the Age of Leo. The Sphinx is one of the significant monuments that serve as a testament to the superior architectural capabilities of ancient Egypt. This monument hasn't escaped Graham Hancock's research and diverging theories. Hancock has spent time studying this giant statue on the plains of Egypt. Working together with Robert Bauval, Hancock puts forward a controversial theory about the age and purpose of the Sphinx. This theory goes against traditional Egyptology. Many academic articles credit the construction of the Sphinx to the ancient Egyptians, sometime in 2500 BC. However, Hancock's theory challenges this widely accepted notion, arguing that the Sphinx is much older. He believes that the monument was built during the Age of Leo, which is approximately 12,500 years ago. You would agree that this is a very long time. He establishes this theory based on the precession cycle of the Earth, which results in the precession of the equinoxes. This is a cycle of about 26,000 years, where different constellations appeared to rise just before the sun on the spring of equinox. Hancock comes up with the unconventional argument that the Sphinx was designed and constructed to gaze at the constellation of Leo in the pre-dawn sky of the spring equinox, which marks the Age of Leo. Since the last Age of Leo occurred about 12,500 years ago, Hancock believes that Egyptologists are wrong in their prediction of the Sphinx's age. Another supporting beam of this theory is geographical evidence, where Hancock examines the severe erosion on the body of the Sphinx. He argues that the erosion is due to thousands of years of rainfall. Over time, many have tilted towards Hancock's theory, given that the last period of significant rainfall in the region occurred around the end of the Ice Age, about 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. Nevertheless, the Age of Leo is not accepted by mainstream archaeologists and Egyptologists. They argue against Hancock's theory based on the premise that there is no scientific evidence that speaks about the Age of Leo. Yet, Hancock's work has surprisingly led to deeper evaluation of historical facts as more people begin exploring past civilizations. Despite the stiff opposition that Graham Hancock's theories continue to attract from mainstream archaeologists, scientists, and Egyptologists, they have gained acceptance from many people. More interesting is that many people are beginning to question existing historical narratives and dig deeper into recorded history. Who knows, another unconventional theory might be discovered in the process. Thanks for watching another episode of...
Man, y'all spam that like button, bro. God, I love this stuff.